King size now on point and doing what must be done, defending that tooth and nail as Emong is going ahead of brawl, close quarters, shield drops, rock guns through. King size is getting absolutely pummeled to pieces, but is still holding relatively firm as no, the support in the back line cannot sustain the damage, and the tides have also turned here. Ari 3%, 2 and 1 overtime chance here for West.
Chance, but that's all it will really be. It'll be Hebron that take our first sub-map here. Tsune Rush for good measure, but in the end, I mean, I don't want to say it was fully dominant, but it was convincing, to say the least. Hebron had a bit of a speed bump, but they bounced back after they realized, okay, here's what they're doing. Let's just make that adjustment. And that is what separates the good teams from the great teams, that how quick they can find those adjustments and implement them in.
Yeah, 100%. And again, maps like Control, these ones tend to go by in about 2 blinks of an eye. So we're pivoting now onto point number 2 of Nepal, one of my all-time favorites, actually. This is where I think you can see, yeah, see Emong going with that Maga. This is one map where I feel like point is so focused and centralized, and there's very minimal, I'll say, entry opportunities as well. So playing that Maga and staying together as a squad of 5, and of course you get the quick little movement here onto point. Emong is already set up and locked and loaded. This is going to be fun for West to try and take control of.
See a big wall out there, actually, that Cardiac Arrest would use as well, trying to keep themselves up and alive a little bit longer. But there's a raid. That's the first strike throughout this map. Emong will follow suit. Mini Carter as well up on the board. Make that a double for them, and a clean, quick fight for them.
Yeah, immensely quick. And you look at, like, this is the love-hate relationship with Reaper, right? When you're fighting against the Reaper. It's like, do I bother investing in ability or shooting him? Because I know he's just going to fade away. Or do I just go ahead and focus the rest of the team? Neither option really yields great success because you ignore him. He's absolutely pummeling you close range with a shotgun. And Reaper hurts, man, especially as a beefy tank. Like, he can chunk you really hard. And that's something that I've got my eye on here for, is to see what Beast can do on that Reaper and just how many ults he can farm up.
Oh my gosh, massive boop comes out from both the Lucio and the Maga. And it's just like clockwork with the rest of the players. I mean, a pleasantry at that. And oh, yep, bye-bye, King size. I would probably do the same if I were in your situation. But a reset quick nonetheless. I mean, 2 fights have been gone, but you're not even at 50% yet if you're Hebron. So honestly, fair enough.
Yeah, this whole composition and what the Lucio brings with the mobility, the flankability of the Reaper, the face damage output that Cassidy can bring to the table, all of this just is like the epitome of a really slippery brawl that can just absolutely sustain and face tank. And massive leap by Emong, great target selection. That is one way to run it down.
I mean, absolutely. They're just going to farm up all the rest of these players in here. No way, that's a Blizzard used on top. Sure, you'll find the freeze on a few, but that's the DMAC applied. Johnny G will clean up the remaining players outside, and so that's an ult burned, to say the least. Of course, there are matches in terms of that ult economy for the rest of these 2 teams, so it'll be tough for West to break through this hold from Hebron.
Yeah, it's been nothing short of turbulent, and the worst part of this equation is you have virtually 5 ults coming up on the side of Hebron. Couple to go, the bomb would be massive as well here, but they're going to have to get to this backline, and that means, you know, dealing with the Reaper, dealing with the Cassidy, and somehow catching a Lucio who's flying around. There's the Kitsune, there's the Beast, there's the Emong, and just look at the target selection here coming up from this team. I mean, these guys are looking through the fog of war with ease, and they're just able to get all the picks at the right time. And they survive the bomb as well. That's overtime. That's a wash on second point on Nepal. Hebron comes out on...
They're just so quick with it. I mean, I know you talked about the target priority, but it seems like every single time they are punishing the Ana. At least that's what we saw from the Maga POV, was that slam would pop up, the Ana would go out, and just completely be decimated. Just one shot from the Cassidy would do it, maybe one combo from the Lucio. I mean, here, of course, we had a great play, the stun onto Beast with that Pharah, but in the end, falls a little bit short as one team outdoes the other in convincing fashion yet again. Going to be looking in here towards these 2 teams and how they maybe get ready for this next map. Of course, Control. But now we move on. Of course, the team that does not find themselves in the victorious column in that first map will be able to choose the map and mode now for the next one. And of course, we do have the various pools coming in, right? Every competition does have their idea as to what exactly they are working with. I can pull up the Overwatch pool here for us right now. I'm going to assume that these teams like to go to flashpoints. That just seems to be something at the high school level that I've noticed across various competitions, where even though a team will fall short on control, they'll try and bounce it back with the flashpoint, get out to kind of a quick 1-on-1 so that you don't start those hefty, long running maps with many, many minutes, right? 4 minutes one way, the other. And then, of course, time being added after every segment that comes through. So I'm going to assume Flashpoint is the way we are going here. Of course, those maps available in this case going to be Servasa and New Junk City. So out of those two, traditionally teams will pick a lot more of Servasa. However, I personally like that New Junk City a little bit more. I think if you're a team trying to kind of outplay your opponents, going to something like New Junk City, which is a little less played, and something that is a little bit more appealing to your comp, or at least what you were trying to run, I think that's your best bet, right? The May playing into those factors. I think as well, if you are set on running the May, something like Eichenwald, where you have kind of big bridges to play with, or I'm thinking of another hybrid map, I believe it's Midtown as well, something that you can just go under those few chokes and then kind of wall them out and pin players into, the necessary fights that you need to make them in.
Ari, I'm back. I'm alive and well.
Hello, Strive.
The gremlins got the best of me, but alas,
Ooh.
what did I miss? Was there anything immensely spicy in the past 2-3 minutes, or did we just wrap it up and that's the end of Nepal?
I mean, if you're a fan of waffles, I did a little bit of that, a little bit of waffling. But other than that, no, nothing, no gameplay, no interesting dances on the player cams. Instead, we're just, we're yapping it up, talking about the potential possibilities of what that next map looked like. I was saying a little bit of Flashpoint, potentially a Servasa, New Junk City being the pool. I was going to say New Junk City based on the comp we saw them run.
I think so too. New York City, again, all-time banger. I think it really plays well into what Hebron brought. Ooh, actually, we're hearing from the back end. The bug in thy ears is saying that it's going to be King's Row. So if
Of
it is
course it
King's
is.
Row, I mean, there's a classic ongoing debate. Is King's Row the best map in the game? My humble opinion, yes, I love it. I think it's amazingly fun, and for whatever reason, to me, it speaks true to the heritage of what Overwatch is and just what the community loves. So if there's one reason to play Kings Row, that would probably be it for me. Composition wise, I'm just thinking out loud. I've only seen these two teams play this initial Nepal point thus far, obviously. So I don't really know. I don't really know what they're going to pick out. But bans are coming in actually in the earbug too, and Reaper ban and a Lucio ban. Are we surprised? I'm not surprised about the Reaper ban. I'll be 100% honest with you, Ari.
I'm a little bit surprised on the Lucio ban, though. I mean,
Okay.
obviously, it does propel one team a little bit further, but I think with this given rule set, both teams are unable to play the characters that are banned. So, a little bit interesting to see how that's going to also find the workaround. I mean, you're looking at an Ana for the one side. Does that get punished over and over, even though that speed is gone? I mean, you're still looking at the aerial assault from the Pharah without a mercy, right? We're not doing any of that action, but that was still finding the value in the end. And so you're like, okay, what exactly is cooking? Of course, that's for the players to tell us as the cards fall and as this game starts to get underway.
Leaves a lot to be questioned. And with Hebron here picking on attack to start us off on Kings Row, this is a team that I think is going to be immensely exciting and very impactful on attack. Just from what I saw on their play style on Nepal, they know how to target select. They know how to dive as a team. They know how to make the right move at the right time. And I feel like the harmony between their hero selections and the ability usage is just textbook. Like they execute a strat, and that's what they focus on. There's no midway changing of direction. I don't feel any sense of wavering decision making. If I could summarize it for you, Ari.
Yeah, I mean, I do leave it up to these players to kind of dictate how the series goes. I mean, obviously, this is why we play the games. There can be upsets, there can be things like that. But with these two teams and with how strong that they have been, I mean, you almost start to be like, okay, what is the wild card factor that we're going to see, right? Is it one player rising to a challenge and breaking out of the gates in a crazy, amazing fashion? Or is it the other way around where you're seeing a team force out mistakes? Or is it just a battle of which team is more consistent? And, reputation would maybe argue it is Hebron, but is that the case, right? I mean, we see Ghosty Boy here on the Wooyon.
Overwatch crossed the line.
Wu
here,
Yang's a
and the
awesome
world
choice,
paid the
can have
price.
a lot of value on the table. I'm liking the Emery selection for the side of Evan's corner. To use back on Tracer version 2, Orisa Ana, so that's kind of to be expected. On the opposing end, you have the ever so chunky Emong on the Maga, and against an Orisa and a team that's trying to hold a choke, I am really interested to see their target selection and their dive. If they can get past this initial choke point and get one pick, I foresee a Hebron landslide coming through.
Widow, of course, a little bit of a fun pick for the first few moments. Will it stick on out, of course, though? That's still to be determined. You take that offensive angle, and you're honestly out of spawn now, so your battle might be against the Tracer in the few coming moments. But Maga very low. Emong, be careful. Just some abilities being taken out in the feed. That is until Tuyu finds the first strike here. A very nice play from the defense just to find the value that has been given to you, and that'll be Beast following suit shortly after.
Yeah, Beast trying to find opportunity, and Emong now at the choke. The team's going to have to regroup fully. I didn't get to see how a lot of this entire fight unfolded, but right off the rip, I felt like that Widowmaker didn't really have that impact that I was expecting. And part and parcel, the side of West just kind of set up to not give opportunity to the Widowmaker, and that's one strategy you can definitely implement and minimize the risk and exposure. So King here is holding on the high ground, but it's getting pummeled, and alas, there's only so many angles that an Orisa can manage at once. We're watching Tuyu here on this Tracer as well, trying to find opportunity, create some distraction, which I think will open up a lot of space for West to get some picks.
Very much a defensive play now that's trying to be implemented, trying to just take that space early and fend off players up on that high ground. The only problem, though, is, well, I was going to say you don't have the eliminations to go for it as well, but there's a second one. King size will fall to you, finds one back in response, but for the most part, it looks relatively pinstriped on the feed. I honestly don't even know who has control at this point now until looks like Hebron start to find their way back to this point. Pulse bomb, that's a big stick, but is it enough to get you all the way through? My guess is gonna be no, but here comes the tank on back. There's certainly a way through. Any ults to say on the mix? Well, 95% and 5% closer. You're finding yourselves a way through. There's the nano boost as well, so you are certainly back in this one. Look at this tactical retreat coming through.
Yeah, good usage of the nano, and I like the respect on the ult as well. Orisa choosing to hold the ultimate for a better opportunity. Looking for a spear connection. Massive rock comes in from the Sigma. Here comes the barrel. There's the window as well from the Baptiste. There's going to be a lot of pressure here to hold off, and Tranquility is working overtime. 7 shifts today alone, and going for the ultimate. There is the connection. You're getting killed. No! Actually, one. No, I lied to you. Alas, the Sigma pick through and through coming in. The Illari ult. It is absolute chaos here on this point, Ari, and we're just watching it all unfold from King Size's point of view, who is fighting for dear life.
Yeah, talk about a TDM style battle we've got so far, and Raid just can't get through the window quick enough. So reset in order now for Hebron. Of course, they will have few more chances, just a minute remaining, and 2 ticks on the board means they can kind of sneak away things that they would like. Also, with the ult economy, I mean, it's 3-1 right now.
The ult economy is going to tell a lot of tales here. Tuyu, getting a little nappy nap session here. There's the lamp as well. Emong is able to get the pick. There's the barrage coming as well, unable to bring home the bread. We're still waiting patiently for Tuyu and Ghosty Boy to try and make something work here and keep this pressure on. 38 seconds leaves Hebron with 1 more in the tank, I think, here.
Of course, that will be the cap coming through, though, in the end.
Yep.
So West High Vikings will have to posture themselves up for a different segment. Of course, they wanted to play King's Row, and now they get to see a little bit more of it. So you got that going for you. But at the same time, 2 ults looking at 3. Expect them to at least find a good opening in this next one. Cycling is what we're going to be keeping an eye on for the most part. And a little bit of the mark there onto the Tracer. You can see them almost looking dead on through the wall.
I love Sigma on this map, by the way, Ari. I think it's just such a potent selection altogether. Like, you can do such a great job of zoning and absorbing damage. With your mitigation stats on King's Row, Sigma is great. And with that, here's the lift as well. Up goes one above Emery. I didn't catch who it was. King Size now is getting absolutely rocked. Crazy output there coming out from the side of Hebron.
Disgusting. I've never seen an Orisa get booped around and manhandled like that so crazily. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a swap. I mean, you just need that a little bit more duality in your play, the ability to both go and play that offensive role and as well come back and soak up the damage for your team. The Orisa pick is good, but with what you're being asked of with the rest of your team and how they're playing this right now, I think the Ramatra fits a little bit better. Of course, the L charge is going to dissipate. Instead of 70, now 23. But of course, you're on the character you want to be for this final fight.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And the good thing about playing a shields type pick like a Ramatra or a Sigma is your shield is not necessarily just used for face blocking. You can go ahead and block off the sight lines of healers and do so much more with that. And oh, nappy time here for Tracer. 20 HP and a Dream, but still alive and in the mix. So all good. Yeah, back to the comment I was making. Ebong is doing such a good job with the shield placement and just adding so much value to blocking the sight lines of the Ana and the Wu Yang in some cases where they just become invalidated. And the front line is very, very strong from the side of Hebron. Like, you just watch the output of Beast and just how quickly these barrages are being farmed. I think it really speaks volumes to the impact that Pharah's been having so far.
Absolutely. I mean, especially in a meta that you could argue maybe isn't as flyer contained and heavy. It is a really nice way that they're finding this value consistently. Of course, that's going to be the Nano meeting the Barrage, and the Barrage will just be taken down by the Fisticuffs. That's not going to be super good for your HP. The backline forced to retreat yet again. And the Invincibility Lamp field burned on out. Just be players backing up, holding on for dear life, grabbing the L charge that they can, but for the most part, that is a lost cause.
A little bit. Tuyu there had really good tenacity on that Baptiste fight. I mean, you saw the camera, the POV change, but Tuyu was still going at it. Now does have Pulse available. We have the Nano up for Tranquility as well. Massive shield there from King Size, absolutely soaking up so much damage on this pre-choke position now. And exactly what you said, Ari, able to take a bit of a better beating and a bit more duality in a sense that, you know, you can get in and get out a little bit more peacefully. But as I say that, not so much. Ragear is able to pick up King Size, and that should open up some more breathing room for Hebron here to get this point moving.
Yeah, the only worry is that once you are doing super well, you got to make sure you don't overcommit into that space like you saw maybe one or two players going down that probably shouldn't have. But in the end, I mean, Hebron shouldn't have too much extra space that was free and given to them. However, of course, this little Tracer battle we've got going on the side angle, trying to swap out, find that initial target. And like you mentioned with that target priority earlier, it's going to be Ghosty Boy that falls first. The Tracers both falling in rapid succession, but it looks like Hebron still have those numbers.
Let's go with the one more kick at the can. A purple King Size is just trying to survive, and it's very hard when, like you said, you're getting bullied and CC'd left, right, and center. There's a lift as well now. Emery going in for the Hail Mary. All gets relatively absorbed by the shield off the rip, but Evan just cannot sustain. There is no heal output in the mix, and Tuyu is 175 HP in a Dream. Gets annihilated really quickly, and that's going to be the escort complete as Hebron is able to take it all the way to the finish line.
It is honestly a little validating to see Mini Carter on the Ana as opposed to the Lucio, right? Just to show that they have that duality, not just to play that one particular style. Same thing can go for Hebron as well, just as a school and as a team, how they play this game. The fact that they have such a good Ana player, at least in that last two fights, picking up 2 eliminations, and then on top of that, with the Lucio and the Control doing super well, you start to wonder, what is this team's weakness? They did get stopped over towards that control point at the beginning, but in the end, when they got the ball rolling, it looked like they were good to go.
Yeah, once the candle was lit, it was on fire, to put it shortly. So coming back in now, side swapped. Looking at the selections on the left side there, West, Emery, Tracer, Diva, Kiriko, and Juno. On the other side of the spectrum, I like the Tracer as well from the side of Ragear. Beast back on the Pharah. Emong on the Sigma, Kiriko, and the Ana as well. So not too many changes here. And what I like from Hebron is, I mean, they seem to have a nice little formula, a nice recipe, Ari, and they're sticking to it.
Even find me?
Yeah, I mean, I think it might change a little bit if those pieces don't add up on this defensive side, but for the most part, I mean, this is a comp that you'd expect to honestly flourish a bit more on the defensive side than on the attack. So the fact that they did so good on the attack means that this must surely be the solution to all their problems here on this particular side. But new half, new me potentially for the West High Vikings. They can find a way to break through, or they'll be stopped for a few more minutes. Of course, need time to work with, ults to be farmed up, and the initiative to be made shortly.
I like how we have the POV on King Size, because I think a lot of the success on this first point obviously rides on the ability for King Size to find the right pick and to open up opportunity. Survival, of course, is critical. Time is of the essence on King's Row, and Emong is able to get one opener onto 2U, and that eliminates your flank ability, which you can see Beast right away fearlessly starts taking a little bit more space and crosses the fringes over past the choke and pushes everyone right back into spawn for a full reset.
I mean, you like to see that even though, you know, there's one elimination, both teams start to react and realize what exactly they need to do in order to get the most value out of the situation, right? If it's you guys losing one, you know, backing up would be super nice. Same thing with if you find one, well, now you've got additional space to work. This is going to be a pathing up the stairs, though, and the team is split, so potential struggle incoming.
Yeah, a little bit, but this is the right strat to take on this kind of moment here, right? You leave 2U down below just to kind of cook a little bit, get some high ground control, and oh my goodness, no, the plan fails as Evan's corner is eliminated. King Size is able to actually counteract and deal with the Pharah, so that's good. The flying agent or flying hero dealing with the flying hero, you like to see it, and nothing too over contentious yet. You know, it looks like Hebron is holding quite firmly and doing a good job.
Down, you know, making sure that you just have this fair 1v1 against the Sigma, and for the most part it looks relatively even. Of course, that health pack does have a different say on this fight. Of course, TU, though, putting in the work on the other side. The VMAX does not come through onto the Sigma. Of course, that means the Sigma in no man's land will fall down eventually. Emong feeling the wrath of the bullets, and of course, now you have Beast on this far, just going for a little bit of poke, trying to farm up that barrage, but looks like there's going to be no real contest here, and the point goes the way of the West High Vikings.
Yeah, really, I mean, King Size is working every single muscle in that arm right now, trying to manage all the target selections and make the right picks. And it's been a stellar Diva performance so far. Watching 2U now, 1v1 against opposing Tracer, Radriar, and Emong is able to get the pick in the end. 2U is getting absolutely abused by Emong, it feels like, on that Sigma. That's like 2 picks in the past 2-3 minutes now. And it's not leaving a lot of opportunity for West to make moves, because 2U just can't gain value as much as you'd like to see.
Raid just picked up 3 or 4, by the way, so props to them. That aim,
yep,
crispy, clean, you have to imagine. But a good team play just from Hebron, just in general, right? Use that gravitic flux, let your Tracer kind of have that freeway with your opposing Tracer going down, right? No real marking on that. And of course, with everyone up in the air, that's free pickings for them. No real shield to hide from. Of course, there isn't one in general, but now Nano Barrage, yeah, that's one shot to the face. That'll take you down on Tracer. A little bit whiffy there in the end, but it still finds Vic in the end. And of course, the snipe onto the following remaining players. A little bit of a boop, and no stagger comes through, but I mean, dominant fight to take there with just sending one ult.
This is one of the worst feelings on King's Row, is when you're just trying to get out of spawn and you have so much variability in the positioning of Hebron, right? You have a Tracer who, I mean, who knows where Tracer is and can blink out in 2 seconds. You have Beast flying above you, and you have so much sustain from the side of Emong. So with that, I like it to see the ultimate come through and open up opportunity. There's the pulse as well, as able to get Evan's corner. That's a huge pick if you think about it on the Ember.
Recall forced out, many grabs, not even needed actually, realizing they're at full health. So a bit of a Kiriko Kitsune rush in the mix here. Oh, that's ambitious. That's sending a message, but I guess message sent indeed, maybe just to us instead of the opponents, as it looks like this will be the every ult now invested as well. Heavy round shot fired, and looking for another one taking down potentially the Sigma, but instead it finds Raid. And so there you have it, a hope that was turned into a little bit more than just that candle. Fire lit, blazing, and now just needs to take fire on the rest of the players as well.
Yep, 2U is going to start looking for a bit more opportunity to open up this map and go for some back flanking and whatnot, which is exactly what West need to keep this moving along. Emong, meanwhile, taking a lot of close proximity battles, and I like what I'm seeing out of the side of Radriar a little bit more. Just continuing to keep Emong enabled and gaining space, because it feels like Hebron is, I guess, slowed down a little bit. Like they've lost that pizzazz, and it looks like West is really making use of their synergy a little bit better. So I'm just hopeful that they can get past the initial choke and again keep that momentum moving.
The absorption of the bullets initially, at least, for the space still gaining for the West High Vikings. Of course, there is that gravitic flux, finds 3, and 2 players try to be kept up, but instead Emong will take you on down. Of course, the Tracer doing work against that Shiva counter when there is no more defense matrix available. There you have it, clean team wipe for Hebron.
They're just holding this choke all day, every day, and what I'm starting to get a little bit more concerned about now is we still have the Nano on the table, right? I'm talking for West Side. The Nano is just massive. You have Pulse coming up here in a moment. Barrage won't take long to farm. Fury is just around the bend. This choke is proving to be a mega struggle point, and West don't want to change the formula. And look at this chase coming out here from King Size, is so desperately looking for a pick, but just can't get it. Just instead getting beaten in every which way possible.
It is crazy to me the fact that there is a hard counter in Diva and you're still on Pharah, still finding value in the end. That sends a message in and of itself. That's aura you could argue about with it, but Hebron just looking so good now. They've got 2 ults to match the 2 on the other side. Of course, just holding on to this choke for the past 3 and change minutes already with the initial pick.
The barrier cannot withstand much more.
We're watching just a I'll say a pre-choke duel is the best way to put it. I like how Emong is just playing confidently so far up there, knowing that there's great backline support. And your comment about what Beast is able to achieve is absolutely monumental. You're 100% correct, and that summarizes King's Row for you in a blink of an eye. Hebron just doing an incredible job of holding firm, and they exhibited much of what we saw in Nepal. Just a well put together team, and yeah, a well-deserved play of the game too here for Emong.
The double critic flick. Yep.
Massive.
I mean, look at that.
Huge.
Almost gets the third. Stole it away
Rock
from
was
them.
great.
It was.
Beautiful. I mean,
melee in the end.
Chef's kiss, Ari, like you have to give it up to Emong on that Sigma, has just been so consistent. And I mean, that's the problem as a diva, right? You think you can gain some space. You think you can go for a pick down low. You might excel in the air, but if you're in front of a Sigma, you're probably eating a rock, and that's never a good time as a diva.
No, absolutely not. I mean, we saw the same thing with the Ramatra in the mix as well. They kept eating a whole bunch of rocks as well. And so, you know, they get knocked down. The players behind them now don't have some sort of shield ability. And so in the end, then you're seeing them kind of stumble and fall. That snowball that is created in the front lines transitions to the back of the line. And it's just, it struggles all around.
I have my eye peeled on the existence now that I'm getting a little bit more insight about what these two teams are all about. When I see Farah now on the side of Hebron, I'm like, oh my goodness me! Like I'm genuinely excited to see what the Farah is able to bring to the table, because it's been so impactful in the side of Kings Row. The next map though, I don't know. What do you think, Ari? Based on what your gut says, because this is always a good time just to guess and have a good banter. What do you think is coming up down the pipeline for these two teams?
I mean, look at them in the right cam. You can see they're thinking about which map. I mean, I have to assume that is the coach talking to them, giving some advice as well. But even the players, you know, providing that little bit of input, saying, okay, this is the map we might want to go to. This is what we're looking for a bit more. And I think you are ironically going to benefit from longer sight lines. What do I mean by that? I mean, this Farah has been such a nuisance because they are hiding around various different corners. I think if you were to go something like Route 66, although I'm not sure if that's in the map pool, that would kind of be one of your better chances, right? You have the option to play in closer ranges when you get to those further points, and then in the initial point, you're allowed to have your Emery go and, you know, flourish in whichever way they hope for.
There's a couple different schools of thoughts, right? Like on the one front, my mind says, well, how can we deal with the frontline Sigma, right? But dealing with a frontline Sigma is a difficult feat on its own, just because of just how much survivability is on the table. And then the struggle on Kings Row, especially with some of the more narrow alleyways, which is why Hebron was so successful in holding that choke altogether, was the healers are so well protected. And getting to that back line is, I think, what Hebron does a great job of communicating and managing on the go. They're very much vocal about turning and dealing with the immediate threat, not necessarily the most ideal threat. So for West here, I think they're going to have to do a good job of executing that back line, trying to get past the Sigma in some shape or form. And to your point, that might be part and parcel a map with some longer sight lines, maybe a better variation on the DPS picks, and being able to shred a bit more and pierce through. You know, I'm thinking a Sojourn would be kind of fun to see, just to kind of put out huge amounts of damage and disintegrate a Sigma shield or a Ramatra shield with that E. There's a lot of things that you can do to make micro changes, but is that in the West High School playbook? Is that something that they can draw upon today in this very stressful and we'll say impactful moment in their careers?
I both love and hate that you mentioned the fact that they were commenting about the immediate threat instead of the, you know, the ideal one when it came to target priority. And that gave me a sense of self-reflection. I was like, ooh, you know what? I've definitely done that a few too many times, and you don't realize it in the moment. It's tough, right? But to go forward and now implement that, realize that hopefully the coach has given them some input towards that front going into these next maps. That's something that we need to see from this team going forward. I believe I heard Suravasa is going to be the next map going forward. So Flashpoint is our next mode. What are your thoughts on that compared to the control that we previously saw?
I'm getting I'm getting some control flashbacks in my mind because it gives me similar vibes. However, I think that having gone through two maps now, we are in a better position to see what is, I would say, the best of West High School in this best of five series. Like they've had a chance to absorb every bit of what Hebron's all about, see their picks, see a little bit more about their play styles. So if there's one chance to absolutely nail it out of the park and at least put up a battle out of the gate, I think this is where West can really come through, Ari.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like these players are cooking. You can see them like chilling on the sidelines. One maybe a little bit more relaxed, being up 2-0 in this best of five. But I believe we are getting word that some of these players are subbing out, trying to find the right pieces to the puzzle. And of course, those players that we're seeing on screen right now on those roster graphics, well, they may be changing just a little bit more. I mean, this could give them the momentum that they are hoping for, right? With these players swapping out, if that is maybe a hero pool issue, not, I don't even say issue, but just if they plan to go to a certain map where they know one character is really, really viable and they want to put somebody in for that, I'm completely down for it. Curious for your thoughts.
Oh, 10 out of 10. I'm with it. I mean, in a competitive environment, in a team setting, it's always about doing what's best for the team. And a swap might be what the doctor ordered, to remedy the situation or at least contribute to the remedy, not be the solution. So, yeah, I'm all about it. But in the spirit of getting the swap done and dusted, we're going to send everybody off to the Tracer, actually, off of the Symmetra. This is going to be a mega damage pump comp for the side of Hebron. I think they're going to have great sustain, great mobility, and great dive potential if Bastion and JPC can make the right target moves with King Size.
Hebron over on the red side right now. That is the Emong. Are those teams swamped? Either way, we'll get that clarified and set all up to go. It will be King Size Tranquility to fall early. Beast, of course, with that Reaper no longer banned. Well, now you get a little bit more of free reign.
Yeah, now that we've got everything squared up there team-wise as to what you're seeing on the top, yeah, totally. Points on its way very nicely for Hebron. And although we're watching the robot move, you can see there Beast has been the selected robot mover. Everyone else is kind of making space, holding these chokes. I like the aggression and the positioning from Emong as per always. And I'm waiting to see what Ragear can do, how much value this Tracer can add. And what I would say is a very tricky point for a Tracer to excel on.
I don't think that teleport went as long or as far as they wanted it to, but either way, the rest of the team will still make up the difference without them. It's Ragear, like you mentioned, finding two picks for themselves. Of course, it will be a Bastion hanging from the sky. Buddyless will go down, and I have a feeling we know why Buddyless is now in it. Might be as that Bastion specialist, but of course, as I say that now, it's going to be the Reaper swap.
Watching Ragear cook a little bit here and has the whole team as well. So to be the high ground control, and you're very much limited as to how far you can venture up, because guess what? You're going to get flanked both front side of there, and you can see the big push coming in here to stomp on top of it. Beast is just having an absolute field day. It's like he's invisible. He's got some Harry Potter invisibility cloak on. It's just able to do so much for Hebron and get so much value for them.
I mean, that second shot, that flick is disgusting.
Right?
I know a lot of the time you don't say, wow, that Reaper flick was cool, but like, doesn't matter if it's a shotgun doing a high amount of damage. Beast is there with it. Was at first the barrage, the Tara, but instead now the shotgun. Of course, new fight, new me potential. Now's a one-for-one trade. This turn down both the Kirikos falling to the floor, but that will soon be mirrored as Buddyless also falls to the floor. Beast, their counterpart, will join, but it's Ragear and King Size still about even in terms of numbers. It is just the Mongols that have to make the difference, and a little bit of a chase now.
Hebron is awesome to watch, by the way. Just so like so adept in knowing when to back up, even if they have what looks like headroom, right? Is so cognizant of the available utility on the opposing end. And boy, that's a choice to go in there for 2 years. All good though. We're back and together as a team as the Maga v Maga saga continues as Mini Carter comes in with a friendly little "Hey, how you doing?" bop for the kill, but contribution from Beast, from Emong, from Johnny, who's I would very well assume Johnny's just pumping infinite heals in the backline. Like, we haven't seen too much Kiriko on the POV, but I just know that Johnny's putting in the work.
Yeah, consistency to keep those teammates doing whatever they are doing. Huge fight from the extended here. Tsune rushes from both sides. I mean, that is a comedic Kiriko POV if I've ever seen one. But it is Ghosty Boy to pick up the 2 eliminations. He does find themselves with the Maga in a face, but that Maga will also be removed. And now, honestly, the most convincing fight win we've seen from West High Vikings here in this map.
Really good move there from King Size. Great target selection, and like all things said and done, we have Buddy List coming up around the corner with a Death Blossom, which back it up with a nice little Lucio beat. We might be in for a great time here. 110 meters on, well, I'll say the first window is pretty nice.
Fight, Pulse Bomb, Reaper, Death Blossom, Lions, Tigers, a wardrobe, something about that, oh my. But in the end, it looks like still no eliminations have gone through. That is until the Reapers find themselves in that tiny room. Beast loses the Death Blossom though, and so this is starting to spell for that speed bump that we saw potentially. I think it was map 1.
Literally everything minus the kitchen sink got thrown into that fight that just happened. And I mean, I would love to give you the play-by-play and break it down for you, but if you saw what I saw, that was a lot to process. All I can tell you on the backside of it is West was able to come out on top for the most part here, but the regroup from Hebron is crazy. King Size is getting absolutely pummeled, and look at the damage output here. The Maga v Maga, just infinite healing and output. Umang is going on a side quest, and it's a battle of who can Goomba who first is King Size looking pretty good so far.
And pick the second one as well. Defend up Lucio and the Tracer, of course, easier said than done, as those characters a little bit speedy, if you will. But there's you go, the Swamp onto one, the other one still being chased around, and actually now the forward spawn achieved for West High Vikings. They are not out of this map, and that's the beauty of push. As long as you get your momentum at 1 point, you'll be good to go.
Yeah, we just want to keep that momentum moving in the right direction here. But H5 coming in here as well, considering on top of this massive damage output. There's the pulse. You can see Tranquility putting in so much work on the back line, trying to balance the damage. Gets a nice pick onto Beast, straight up close and personal. King Size continues to live. There's the beat down as well, which is going to hopefully keep up the size of West High School. And mostly does. All good here as West has, like you said, already picked up momentum, and they're running with it really nicely right now.
Only worry now is that ult cycle of 4 ults to absolute nada for the West High Vikings. So I'm looking at this next fight at least to go the way of Hebron. The only problem, or I guess the only kind of idea measurement, is how many ults do they use, how many do they have in the next fight. Well, it's going to be that cage fight, the Death Blossom, and it's good for at least the first. You saw Mog on a sliver HP, doesn't even matter, it gets healed right back up. He of the cardiac arrest, and in the end, the melees take down Tranquility as well as the rest of the team. Just about 2 ultimates used. Hebron very happy with that result.
Don't you just love that feeling when you think you've got the Maga out of the way, and then all of a sudden this health goes from like 6 to 500 in
No,
about
I don't
4
enjoy that
seconds?
feeling.
No, that was totally sarcastic. I don't either. It's absolutely obnoxious. And that's literally what happened there. And Emong is just alive, still alive, and now running with you. Just absolutely troubling to deal with. That parcel off is such a strong backline for Hebron.
I mean, 3 picks should be matched up relatively soon. The cleanup in effect, and there you go, all 5 team kill indeed. Of course, for West High Vikings, they still have at least a little bit of time left, and of course, as long as that overtime is in effect, as long as you have at least 1 person, you can push all the way and provide that comeback. But now, of course, is that forward spawn, and as soon as they've worked past it, they've just left.
They took the robot from us.
Well, it's coming back now as West has got it under control. Emong playing nice and aggressive here. Huge Kitsune here, and the dive coming in from Emong, who's low. He's going to survive, but there it is again. Quarter HP. If you're looking on the top right and also looking at the POV of Emong, it is absolutely nuts watching how fast this Maga gets the health back, and they just run it down. It's like they're trying to target Emong. They understand just how impactful this Maga is, but Ari, that's just one of the 5 pieces of the puzzle here. You have beast in the back. You have so much output from the Kiriko. I'm telling you, I want to see Johnny G's stats at the end of this. Like, Kiriko heals must be outrageous.
Kenny Carter, unfortunately, the one trapped at the cage fight with the both Magas. So, although the bullets are flying every which way, one pulse bomb does land on it in the end. A few more additional meters gained for Hebron here, but in the end, it looks like they will have to take a bit of a reset. It is a bit closer to those opponents' spawns, and as much as you would like to get that full cap, it is a very difficult task, and Hebron, maybe their reputation precedes them, but right now, they are still 1 minute away in the lead from taking a 3-0 sweep. Full cap or not, they'd still be the victors of the series.
And I just want to pivot back to the strategic side of things, right? I think that this even really dangerous on these matches, just how fast they can get back to the point. They don't give an opportunity for West to even gain anything, any space, not even close to where they are in their max 93.5 meters. They're just not giving them room. And what do you do at that point? I mean, Ari, like, you're getting pushed back into, you can see they picked up the robot, but not even, a quarter of the way back to the push, back to center point. So it's just nuts, man. Like, West just can't get space because of how quickly Hebron's able to rotate in position.
I'm expecting this next fight to kind of just give it on up. Hebron just want to arm up their ults and then find an opportunity, a window to get on in here and win this fight while that timer is fully gone, right? If you use it now, maybe there's one more fight for the West High Vikings to bounce back in, use those ults snowball, but for right now, they're just farming up the ults. So expect them to maybe go down, but no, there is the beat invested from both sides, so a bit of a stalemate here. Everyone's farming on up, and who will be the next to strike? It will be Rager, that finds that first. Buddyless will fall, the new addition, the substitution into this map. But now the rest of the team needs to make up for it. I saw Maul got a sliver HP. This time they actually do fall down. Ghosty Boy only finds that 1-for-1 trade before eventually Hebron find that initiative. Is anyone left in any sort of proximity? It was to you, but even then they are removed. Reaper last-ditch effort, but it won't be there. Buddyless is unfortunately going to be victoryless as the series goes to Hebron. They'll be your champions of at least this series.
Yeah, stellar job from Hebron. I mean, they absolutely shone in every which way possible. And just watching Ragewear on that last POV look gave me a sense of what this team's all about. Just again, excellent target selection, excellent tenacity, not letting go of the target inside. And you can see Ragewear just running that Lucio down. And I think that's what Hebron does well, man. They're just able to pull together a cohesive strat and they execute it darn near flawlessly. They are a monstrous, monstrous contender here today.
I'm so sad. I see Ghosty Boy's number, and I was like, okay, good to know that's what we're doing here. But yeah, congrats to both teams. Obviously, one of them is still not, gonna be sent home completely. They will have a chance to redeem themselves to rematch this Hebron side. Of course, they will be down in that lower bracket, round 2, the lower final, if you will, against Da Vinci Alpha Wolves. So definitely a battle that wants to be that highlight leading into the grand final, though that's going to take a few more minutes to get to.
Having completed this series, Ari, I mean, I just want to ask you your opinions or just your insight on these two teams. What do you think worked well? Obviously, for the side of Hebron, many things went right. They were able to sweep the 3 to win the best of 5. What do you think the side of West can alter or change going into this next series?
I mean, I think they had the right idea. Obviously, this roster, whether the adjusted one with the substitution or not, they had kind of similar ideas with the Brawl being their most ideal scenario, right? Trying to play as grouped up as possible and then kind of just run into the enemy team, right? The Maga battles was actually giving them a decent amount of fight wins. And so it is that off-angle pressure that was leaving them in the dust, whether that Tracer Mirror comes through or the Pharah comes in. That seemed to be the struggle. So find yourselves a scenario where you can brawl it out as easily as possible, whether that's the map selection or the heroes, and that will be the key to success for me, at least for the West High Vikings.
I look to the side of West, and I think the one thing they have to work on as a team is finding a way to that healing backline. Unfortunately, in the series, I didn't get to see the scoreboard at the end of it, but I was really honestly curious to see what the heal output from the side of Hebron was. Like, looking at
We had the idea that we might have been here sticking around following the Marvel Rivals train, but instead we will change gears. Instead, it will be the NECC Nationals, the Valorant Grand Finals. That game will be between Northwood and Fisher. So keep your eyes peeled there, as obviously that is a Valorant matchup you do not want to miss. Those teams certainly have reputations for themselves, a rivalry between those two, but that is going to be it for us for right now. We'll toss it to some different yappers. Thank you for listening to us. We will see you guys with a different match of Valorant right after the break. We'll see you guys in just a bit.